And this is how we start 2026. Hi, I'm Alan Steadham, and it's hard to believe we're halfway through January 2026. Um, got through last year. Last year was quite a year, and with a lot of good and some bad, but we made it through. And I am really proud of the accomplishments of last year. Um, I'll talk about the literary stuff in just a second, but um, I did want to mention that last year had two big challenges for our family. Uh, my mother, Roberta Steadham, passed away in August, and I won't say that that it was a complete surprise, but it was a loss, and um, you know, to a degree, we're still dealing with that, but the Lord is kind. The Lord has comforted, and just try to honor her memory in our lives. Um, and then besides that, my younger son has had a very serious medical issue to deal with, uh, basically for a little over a year, and so um, that's been a challenge for all of us, but especially for him, of course. Um, but we've tried to rally together as a family, and given him all the support that we can, and continue to. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, really appreciate your prayers and your kindness and your love. And it's made a world of difference. And uh, you know, um, to those that we haven't shared it with, it's not personal. It's just that we're honoring my son's privacy, and but I do want to say that you know this particular storm is almost over, and uh, he's going to make a full recovery, and we're very grateful for that. Um, so those things said, those were big challenges last year, and those are some of the reasons that I didn't post as much on social media, um, on my blog, and other things like that. But in addition to that, did a lot of writing, a lot of editing. Worked on the dystopian sci-fi series, worked on the steampunk set in the present day series, worked on the sequel to the former things, and just kind of generally went over things. And then, of course, the big thing was working with four other Christian fiction authors on the pro-life anthology Choosing Life, which is a Christian fiction pro-life anthology that will be coming out in the first quarter of this year. Very proud of that. I'm very proud of the work that the authors did. Um, I was praying for them, with them, and the Lord just blessed it all to come together. Um, that work is in the process of being copywritten, and then I'll be formatting it and putting it together. There's already a cover, and it's going to be awesome. And all proceeds from Choosing Life are going to go to nonprofit pro-life organizations. So I'll definitely be keeping you up to date on that as more information becomes available. Um, and I just wanted to take a little bit of time here to just expound some feelings. First of all, I'm grateful for for getting through last year. I'm grateful that you made it through last year. I know we all had challenges, we all had triumphs, and now we're in a new year and we're moving forward. And but one thing that I do look at, I don't want to go into a lot of specifics, but I think people will know what I'm talking about. Um, there's a lot of division in the country and in the world right now. There are divisions within divisions, and That's a way that you can always tell that the devil is working, is that he works through chaos and he works through division and he works through strife. But God is greater, and God is a God of order. And, even if you're not a believer, um, I think most people like structure in their lives. They like to know what to expect, and um, you know, they like to have hope and encouragement. So I want to offer a little bit of encouragement because, even with everything that's going on right now, God is still God and Jesus is still Jesus. And, you know, the Holy Spirit is still working. Miracles are still happening. And I think it's very important, especially in the midst of, dire circumstances and so many divisions and, you know, uh, just the things going on in the world, to have hope and to, understand that where there's confusion right now, there will be resolve and there will be resolution to things. And, um, it's, I try to choose my words very carefully here. Um, so I'm just going to state some common sense things. I understand that people have strong feelings right now and that people are compassionate and empathetic, and they have a lot of reasons to believe the things that they believe. But it is very, very important to obey the law. It's very, very important to understand that God created government. Now, man screws it up all the time, but God created government and he created it to maintain a sense of order, to give infrastructure and um, a legal system. And because these were implemented by man, they are going to be imperfect. But the opposite or the absence of that is chaos. It is anarchy. And there's a lot of people that want anarchy right now. I understand that. And I understand some of their reasons, but that doesn't mean I agree. And I am not calling out particular individuals or particular groups. I am saying, generally speaking, this is not a time for anarchy. This is not a time for chaos. This is actually a time to step back and understand why things happen. And by that, I will be a little specific. Um, we all know people who probably entered the country illegally. And they can be great people, or they might not. Don't know. But the important thing is there are ways to enter the country legally. And when people either enter illegally or they overstay a visa, then they are breaking the law. And it doesn't matter how much they contribute individually. What matters is following the law. And if someone breaks the law, there is always the chance that they could be apprehended for that. And if they're in the country illegally, they could be deported. And it is a sad, unfortunate truth. And you don't have to like it, you don't have to agree with it, but it's the law. And when people go and they try to obstruct the law, or they try to obstruct police, or they try to, you know, do the things that are going on right now, it creates danger for everyone. And and we've seen that play out, and it's really sad. And I'm praying for our country. I'm praying for our leaders. I'm praying for the world. I'm praying for stability. But most of all, I'm praying for God's will to be done. And I understand that, you know, even I cannot understand God's will because He's God and He's beyond my comprehension. I can only hope and pray that His will, which is just and holy, will be done. Now, again, I know there's a lot of people that, are either agnostic or atheistic or have other beliefs. Um, in the end, though, I think we all want peaceful resolutions. And I think that we would be much more interested in dialogue than violence. And so I guess this is my call for peace. And I understand I'm only one person, and I'm just a lay member at a church, an individual Christian. But I do believe in the power of prayer. I do believe in the power of peace. And I do believe in the power of God and the Holy Spirit. And I think most of all, what this nation needs is patience and to step back. I realize not everybody's going to do that. Not even the majority of people are going to do that. But that's what I'm praying for. And you know, I'm I'm praying for peace in the world because it's possible, but there are just a lot of obstacles right now. And I am praying for the Lord's truth to go out. Among those, there are too many people out there right now claiming to be Christians, saying very anti-Christian things, and directing people to hate and directing people to mistrust and to follow conspiracies. And, you know, God doesn't work like that. God's truths are simple. God is complex, but God's truths are simple. And if you are looking anywhere besides the Holy Spirit for truth, you're probably not going to find it. So again, I just, urge people, regardless of what your beliefs are, regardless of where you're coming from on this, you know, just know that, you know, I love you. I don't hate anyone. I may despise, you know, terrible things that are happening in the world, but I don't hate people and I don't wish ill on anyone. Again, I wish for peace. And, you know, I don't know. I don't want to go in circles here, but I did wish to express my feelings on that. And I hope I hope it reaches someone. I hope that, you know, we can find some room for agreement. And if anything, uh, you know, just pray for each other, pray for me and my family. And, let's hope that the 2026 turns out to be a great year. It could be. It could be, and there is reason for encouragement and hope. And so I wish you all the best. I thank you for spending time with me. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you next time.